This practice is dedicated to hips and legs, and it is an intermediate level, but it's good also for beginners. Let's start kneeling on the mat. And if you need a cushion or a pad, please prepare it for today because we're going to be on our knees a lot. Let's start with feet pointed, so extended, and sit back on your feet, on your heels. We're going to take some breaths to start with, and maybe close your eyes, shifting your awareness inward. Start with a big exhale through the mouth, and then take a big inhale through the nose, and exhale it out of the mouth. We're going to take one more, even longer. So inhale through the nose for a long breath, filling your lungs. And then exhale out the mouth, all your air out. Last one, even deeper and longer. Inhale through the nose to the top of your lungs and exhale to the bottom of your lungs, all empty. Bring your palms of your hands together in front of your heart and use this moment to dedicate this practice to your full present. Decide now that today you're going to be present in this practice with your breath and your movement. And then release your hands down to the ground, and let's change the position of our feet. So flex your feet and put your toes on the mat. Now this is a bit more painful, so we're going to stay here for a few breaths to work on those feet. Start rotating your shoulders backward, just gentle movement, and then even bring them forward rotations of the shoulders, just to warm up the shoulders a little bit this morning, hopefully. And then inhale, bring both arms up and extend higher toward the ceiling, and then exhale, arms down. Again, repeat. Inhale, bring your arms up and feel tall and extended, and exhale, arms down. One more time. Inhale up and exhale down. Time to change position of the feet again. So extend, point your toes, and sit back again. Inhale, bring your left arm up, and exhale, bend towards your right side, stretching the left side. Remember to relax the right shoulder, and you can walk the right hand far from you, feeling the stretch in your left side. Maybe look up and open up the armpit too, and breathe in here. And then next inhale, bring it up and change arm. So right arm comes up, and this time we're bending towards the left side. Again, remember to relax the left shoulder and look up if your neck allows, and you can open the right armpit, breathing to your side. Release the pose and release your hands down. Flex your feet again and sit on your toes. Inhale, open your arms and bring your heart forward. Extend your spine towards the backward. And then exhale, curve your spine forward. And then next inhale, repeat this movement like a kneeling cat and cow. Inhale to open up the chest, and exhale to curve the back and stretch the muscles of your back. Big inhales and big exhales. Walk yourself to a tabletop position. Check that your shoulders are on top of your wrists. Engage your core, and then extend your right leg long behind you and find the stretch of your right calf. So pushing your right heel towards the back of the room. Breathe in here, and then release and change left leg. So left leg extended back and push the heel towards the back of the room to find the stretch of your calf muscles. And then release, bring back the knee to a tabletop position and start moving your hips only. So block your shoulders and only do some rotations of your hips. helping yourself with your core, obviously. And then slowly these circles become bigger and bigger, and they include in the movement also your upper torso, your shoulders, and then all the way to your neck and the head. So now you're drawing big circles one direction and then the other, all the way from your tail to the top of your head. Come back to tabletop, engage your core, lift your right knee and draw circles with that knee. So in one direction, 5, and then change direction and draw 5 circles the other way, drawing the circles with your knee. So using your glutes and the back of your legs for this movement. Starting to warm up the joint of the hips. And then change leg with the left one and draw 5 circles to one direction, and then 5 circles to the other direction. Coordinate your movement with your breath all the time, bringing your attention back to your breath. Let's move into the first downward dog of the day. Inhale, and then when you exhale, engage your core and push your hips up towards the ceiling, keeping your knees bent and finding the contact of the front of the thighs with your belly maybe. Focus your attention on having a long spine. Find the space in your spine. And then maybe stretch one leg at a time, one knee at a time. And then if this is already your practice and you're familiar with downward facing dog, then you can try to extend both legs and try to reach with the heels for the ground. Otherwise, you stay with knees bent all the time. On your next exhale, walk feet towards your hands and bend your knees a lot. Relax your belly to the thighs, to your legs, and hug your elbows. And breathe deeply with your exhale. Try to find some space to relax the back of your legs and find a good deep stretch in here. You can try to extend few centimeters your knees or come all the way to a full forward bend stretch. Just breathe wherever you are. Inhale, hands on the mat. And exhale, bend the knees a lot more. This time, strong on your feet. All the weight of your body is going to be on your feet right now. And then curve your spine from your tail, your lower back, and slowly straighten it up very slowly with your breath all the way from the middle back, the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, and only last the head. And now you're standing, and that was very nice. You moved slowly and with your breath. Come to the front of your mat and bring your right leg back far away from you. And look, make sure that your stance is very wide and that the right heel is actually open and not closed. So pivot your heel open so that both feet are parallel to each other and that your hips are straight and they push forward. So bend your left knee much more, as much as you can, and feel the stretch of your right calf all the way to the front of the right hip, and then start moving your right arm up with the inhale and down with the exhale. This is a very good movement for the front of your hips, the calves, the mobility of your ankles, your hips, all the way up to the shoulders and your neck. And then change leg and bring the left leg back. Again, check that your stance is very wide and that both feet are parallel to each other. So go check that left heel and open it again. Bend your right knee more and bring your hips forward. Then push down with the left heel on the ground and inhale, bring up your left arm and exhale, release. Inhale, bring it up and feel the stretch all the way from your heel to your hand. And exhale, bring your arm down. Release the pose and come standing in front of your mat with feet away from each other, hips width. Inhale, bring your arms up, feel tall, extended. Exhale, bend your knees a lot and bend forward. Inhale, look up, straighten your back. Exhale, hands to the ground, step back into plank, knees down to the ground, and come lying all the way down to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, push yourself back to downward dog. Maybe your knees are still bent, and take one big breath in here. And then on your next exhale, step forward again. It is time to a wide squat, medium wide squat. So your toes are open. And maybe you need to lift your heels up if your hips don't allow, or try to bring the heels down into a very deep squat and push with your elbows against your knees, inside of your knees, and bring your palms together if it's possible. Otherwise, just stay wherever you are and keep working on your pose today. Exhale, hands on the floor and feet back on the plank. Option to move into a vinyasa with an upper dog or baby cobra and back to downward dog 2. You can always rest in downward dog or even just in extended child pose. Next exhale, walk your feet towards your hand to the front of the mat and sit down on a chair pose. Inhale, extend your arms up straight and sit comfortably on this chair. And exhale, bend forward again. We're going to repeat this movement working on our chair and on our bending, forward bending. So deep breaths in your forward bend. And then again, inhale, look up, bend your knees a lot and sit up on this chair. Straight, long spine, strong legs, and deep breaths. And exhale, bend forward, maybe even to a deeper forward bend. Holding your elbows or touching the ground or grabbing your shins, any way that works for you today. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees a lot, and chair pose. Work on your legs, no pain on your knees, strong on your feet, and open your toes. Exhale, squeeze your glutes and come standing up. We are in front of the mat, time to balance. So find your balance on one leg. Let's start with the right leg. We find balance and release your left foot from the ground. Place your left ankle on top of the right knee and open your left knee open. Then sit back with your hips. Bend your right knee, and again, you're sitting on a chair, but only with one leg. Your elbows can go on top of your knee and your heel, hands, palms of the hands together, and breathe in this position. And then exhale, squeeze your right glutes to come up to standing. Let's do it with the other leg, balancing on the left, and bring the right ankle on top of the left knee, and then sitting back. Now you can see how my hips are very much back, and I'm not bending forward with my knee too much. And again, find your balance and your strength in here. Deep breaths. And squeeze your glutes to come up. And release. Come standing in front of the mat again. Well done. Next, inhale. Raise your arms up towards the sky. Look at your hands. Exhale. Bend forward. Inhale, straighten your back. Lift your back and look more forward. Exhale, hands on the mat. Step back and down all the way, belly down to the mat. Little back bend. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One inhale. And on the exhale, bring the right foot forward to the outer of your hands. Now, this is your inhale, upper dog. So pull the mat towards you with your hands and bring your chest forward, feeling that stretch in your hips and on your back, upper back. Big breath in here, and then place your left knee down on the mat and push open your right knee with your right hand. Option to twist and look to the right. Just stay wherever you are today. Whatever is good for you today, breathe there. Bring both hands back on the mat and step on your left toes. And on your next inhale, with strength on your right leg, rise up, both hands towards the sky, and stay here for a few breaths while your front of the left hip opens up and stretches. Strong on the right leg and push back towards the back of the room with the left heel. On your next exhale, bring your hands down and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind you towards the sky. And option to open those hips towards the left and to bend your knee and creating a twist in your hips. Same spot we're stretching and focusing on is the front of the left hip. And on the exhale, bring the leg down and come down lying with your belly on the mat for a little cobra or upper dog. And exhale, push yourself back to downward facing dog. One breath, one moment to rest in downward dog before we move to the other side, same sequence. So bring your left foot in the front of the mat outside of your hands and open up as an upper facing dog, pulling the mat towards you. You can be on your fingertips if it's too intense. And then bring the right knee on the floor, point your toes, and push the left hip open this time. Option to twist and look more to the left side of the room. Breathe and try to relax your hips with your exhales. Then bring both hands back to the mat. Lift the right knee up from the ground. You are on your right toes, and with your strength on your left leg, rise up and bring your arms towards the sky and keep your left knee bent, being strong on that leg, and see if you can sink your hips a little bit lower, feeling the stretch in the front of your right hip this time. The right heel pushes back towards the back of the room. Next, exhale, hands to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Take your breath in here, and next movement, right leg comes up. And option to open towards the right side, open your hips, twist, bend the knee if needed, and keep pushing with your arms very strongly, and just feel the right front of the hip, deep stretching here. Then with an inhale, just bring the leg back, and with an exhale, release the leg towards the ground. Take your vinyasa, exhaling down to the mat or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upper dog, and exhale, meet you back in downward facing dog. Now bring your right foot and step it forward in a pigeon pose. So bring your shin almost parallel to the mat shortest side, or not, just bring your right foot a bit closer to your hips maybe. And then look back for your left foot and make sure that that leg is straight. You can even keep that foot on your toes or point it. But this time is important. We're going to push away the mat with our fingertips and try to work on our back bend instead, so we're not bending forward. Breathe in here and feel the left front of the hip opening. And then bend forward in a classic pigeon pose. And this time we're focusing on the opposite, the right legs, and the hamstrings stretch inside of the right side of the hip. Okay, now rise up again and stay strong on your right leg because we're going to work with the left leg. Bring forward the left leg, if possible, without touching the ground with your arms like I'm doing, and then bring it back again. So we're just working now on strengthening those muscles of the front of the hip, bringing the left leg forward and backward, forward and backward. So touch the floor in front of you, touch the floor behind you. And after you repeat few times, moving with your breath, the last one, just bring the left leg forward and change leg. Bring the right leg now to the back. So we are again in pigeon, but with the other leg. So adjust your position, check behind you for the right leg to be straight, and then toes can be tucked in or pointed. And push away the mat with your fingertips and work on your back bend, being straight up, chest forward, and feeling now the stretch in the right front of the hip. A few breaths in here before we bend forward and work on the left leg instead. So whenever you're ready, this feels good, but whenever you're ready, you can just bend forward, reaching for the ground or not. Remember, wherever you are is okay. You don't have to go as deep as I go. And feeling the left hip opening this time. Wherever you are, just stay, and that is okay. It is not about the pose. It's about how you feel and how your body is showing up today. So breathe wherever you are. Then inhale, slowly come out of the pose. Bring the right leg forward, and you know it. Right leg forward, right leg backward. So tap the top of the mat and the back of the mat with your foot and working on your core at the same time. So if you can, try not to touch the mat with your hands and just keep doing a few more repetitions of this one. Moving coordination with your breath. Okay, now we're all warmed up with our legs. So watch this. I'm gonna cross my legs, my shins, and then try to stand up. Ta-da! That looks easy. It's very hard. So let's try with crossing the other shin on top and stand up. If you cannot do this, no problem. We're going to actually practice an easier version. So roll on your back and then push yourself up, crossing your shins and standing up. Then roll down again, crossing the other shin on top and standing up. This is very good for your legs. So keep moving right and left with your legs and keep repeating this exercise until you can make it. Now, the even harder version is no crossing of the shins. So my feet are parallel and just stand up all the way, squeezing your glutes, and then squatting down all the way and rolling on my back again. Keep practicing this movement and I'm sure you'll feel it on your legs. So don't get too tired. And then when you're done, you just can rest with me with your back on the mat and your knees bent and knees touching together for a moment. Then separate your knees again and adjust the position of your pelvis, of your hips with your hands so that your sacrum, the flat bone of your hip, touches the ground. And then start lifting only your pelvis up, your tail. Lift your tail up from the mat and away from the mat with your exhales. So using your core muscles, your abs, to lift only your tail and release. Lift your tail and release. And then very slowly, we're going to lift from the tail, lifting one vertebra at a time from the mat, rising up, lifting the hips and the back all the way up to a, I would say, bridge pose here. And squeeze your glutes all the way when you're up, and then slowly come back the same way. So from the neck and the upper back, bringing down to the mat one vertebra at a time, feeling the vertebrae touching the ground one at a time. Take your time, move with breath. And when your hips are on the ground, put your right foot on top of the left knee and let your right knee open in a 4 shape position. Then go grab with your hands the left back of the thigh, so the left leg, and pull it gently towards you as your right hip allows you. Then release gently and twist both, keeping that same position of your leg. Twist the hips towards the left, bringing the right sole of the foot to touch the ground for this deep twist. Look right if you feel like it, your neck allows. And you can take a breath in here until your next inhale, when you bring your legs up, keeping the same shape and bringing those legs to the right. So twisting the hips to the right, looking left with your neck if it allows, and feeling the chest open and both shoulders touching the ground still. Gently bring the legs back and change. So bring them both on the ground first, and then left ankle really goes on top of the right knee. And then pull the right leg towards you, opening up the left hip, and then bring your both legs in that 4 shape to the right. And maybe look left, keeping both shoulders touching the ground all the time. Deep breaths in here. Then on your next inhale, slowly bring both legs up and to the left side. Now the stretch is on the front of the right hip because the left foot is pushing the right knee down. Remember to stay focused on your breath and work on your tissues with your inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, bring both legs up and release the position. Keep your arms open to your sides and bring both legs up. Maybe move your feet. Just let the blood flow from your feet down to your heart. Maybe shake your legs. That was hard work we did today. And then cross the right knee on top of the left knee. And go grab your feet like you see me doing in the video. And then as much as possible, try to push with your knees towards away from you. So your knees push away from you and you keep your feet in your hands. This is very intense. So if you're there, just breathe. And then slowly release and shake again before you cross the left leg, the left knee on top of the right knee. Bend the knees, grab the feet. And again, the intention is to push the knees away from you, still grabbing the feet in your hands. Keep breathing deeply and notice what happens with you, for you, in your hips. And then slowly release the pose. Bring both legs up again towards the sky. Shake your legs. Feel for a moment the blood flowing down. And you can stay here a little bit longer, or you can slowly find your way to your final resting pose, Savasana. If you're with me, make sure your sacrum is evenly touching the ground. Your feet are open and falling, and your arms are open alongside the body, or even more open, just not too high up the shoulders. And then bring your chin a little bit lower rather than having it too much high. So not too high, not too low, feeling the back of the head in contact with the ground. Maybe you want to lift up your shoulders, bring the scapulas flat to the ground, and then bring them back on the ground. So the scapula, the shoulder blades, bones are on the ground. This is a very well-deserved long Savasana time that we're going to spend together. This is the time in which you let go of the breath and you just let your your body breathe for you. So you can trust that your body will breathe for you, and at the moment there's nothing that you have to worry about. Nothing that you have to put your attention and effort in doing. Really. Nothing to do, nothing to worry about. Just rest. This is the moment in which your body integrates everything that you have just done. This is where your strength, your improvement comes from. The integration of your hard work that becomes your wisdom, your new strength. So just trust that in this moment, all you have to do is relax. And if you find it hard for your mind to do so, you can bring the attention to your breath and notice how your breath moves your body, where it moves your body. And you can bring your attention to the energy of your body, all the way from the tip of your big toes, through your legs and your core, your torso and your arms, to the tip of your fingers and your head, your face and the top of your head. All this new energy that is flowing right now, which is the integration that is happening right now. This moment is so important, and you deserve this. It is the only time that you can allow yourself to just rest. So just do so for a few seconds more. Bring your attention back to your breath and take a big inhale through the nose, a big exhale through the mouth. Invite movement again. Move your toes, your feet, your fingers, your hands, your arms, your legs. And when you're ready, you can come join me in a fetal position to your favorite side. So either to your right side, your left side. And then you can push yourself up very slowly and gently and come meet me in a cross-legged position, feeling how good this position feels right now. And bring your palms of the hands together, touching the heart. And this is the moment in which I invite you to thank yourself for joining this practice today. And I thank you for practicing with me. If you like this video, please leave me a like or a comment. I would love to know how it was for you, and you can make new requests for new videos.